Hey everyone, it's Mikkel Thorup from expatmoney.com here, and in today's video, we will look at the Friendly Nations Visa in Panama. It's one of the most popular residency visas in the world. But first, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to get the best info on the expat world every single week. Back in 2012, Panama introduced the Friendly Nations Visa under Presidential Decree 343. This fast-track permanent residency program not only made it easy to obtain residency here if you belong to one of the 22 eligible countries, but it also opened up investment opportunities to the world. Since then, the number of other orders have increased the list of friendly nations to 51 countries worldwide. These include the United States, Canada, Australia, South Africa, Great Britain, Hong Kong, Japan, Germany, France, etc., etc. So what makes this an ideal Plan B visa option? Well, besides being one of the easiest visas in the world to obtain, there are a few important benefits to understand about Panama Friendly Nations Visa. Namely, income tax only applies to income generated inside the country, as we follow a territorial tax system here. This means if you have investment income or online income made overseas, there is zero income tax for you inside of Panama. There is also very low sales tax on goods and services in the country. And once you have your permanent residency approved, you never need to reapply for your visa, and you only need to visit the country one day every 2 years to keep it active. Panama also has a stable economy and a peaceful place to spend time. It has high standards of living with very low cost of living. And it's a hub of Latin America with international direct flights all over the world. Add to that Panama also has food and fresh water here that is abundant. If there is ever a catastrophic scenario in the world, this is an ideal place to be. And there is beautiful tropical weather year-round. And finally, after 5 years of permanent residency, you can apply for citizenship and a second passport here. What makes you eligible for this visa? Well, apart from being a citizen of any of the 51 countries, you also need to meet a few other eligibility requirements to qualify for the Friendly Nations Visa. These include an established professional or economic relationship with the Republic of Panama. We usually do this by purchasing a property here with a value of at least $200,000. You will also need a clear proof of solvency and available supporting documents, and required fees has to be paid. For the real estate, the best company to work with is puntapacificrealty.com, and I will link to their website in the description of this visa. The required documents for the Friendly Nations Visa are an active passport with additional ID, such as a driver's license, 8 Carnet-size passport pictures, a clean criminal record check. Now, for U.S. residents, the FBI is responsible for conducting background checks, but if you're residing in any other country, make sure that it's a nationwide check and not a local check. If you have citizenship in another country, also background checks are required from those countries as well. You will also need proof of residency and address, and if you're applying for your spouse as well, you'll also need a marriage certificate. Also, in case of children, additional documentation is required, which includes a birth certificate, passport, proof of ability to support dependents, authorization of both parents from the child's application form. The costs for applying for a Friendly Nations visa. Besides the title deed of a property in Panama showing a value of at least $200,000, which puntapacificrealty.com can help you acquire, you will also need to pay $800 for a repatriation fee in the form of a certified check made to the National Immigration Service. You will also need a $250 check made out to the National Treasury, and it has to be a certified check. Then you will also incur additional costs such as attorney fees, the costs of opening a Panamanian bank account, charges for securing multiple entry visa, and incorporation costs, among others. Keep in mind that for a single applicant, you'll need to spend at least $6,000. My firm can do all of the legal work for you and help you file your application in Panama. All you need to do is contact us at expatmoney.com for more information. What do you need to do? If you're based in any of the Friendly Nations Visa, this is your step-by-step application guide for residing in Panama. This guide will help you minimize your application costs and fast-track the process. Number 1, start with these documents. Prepare all that you can before arriving in Panama. If you need to translate or apostille documents, do it beforehand. If you decide to work with my company in Panama, we will move you along with the application process while you handle the gathering of documents. Remember that legal assistance is imperative in applying for a residency visa here in Panama. Step 2, get ready to travel. It can take anywhere between a few days to a month on your first visit to Panama. If you follow the first steps prior to travel, you may not need more than a week here in Panama. The purpose of your first visit to Panama is to open a bank account, which requires physical presence. Without an account, you can't move ahead without the filing. We will also take you down to immigration with a bilingual staff member to start your provisional visa process. Step 3, register your passport. The immigration office in Panama handles the registration process. The registration number on the stamp provided by an immigration officer is necessary for both a smooth immigration process and your application filing. Step 4, open a bank account. Banks can deny your account opening application for any number of reasons, which is why you need to work with a firm that has good standing relationships with multiple banks like our company does. The process involves an interview, documentation submission, and signature on all bank forms. We will physically take you down there with a bilingual staff to help make sure the process goes smoothly. Once your application has been approved, apply for a reference letter and request the certified checks that are required to pay the fees for the application and deposit a small amount of money in these accounts to cover these checks. Step 5, file the application. Our attorneys can file the application on your behalf, and you will go with them to the immigration office for your temporary residency card. Important note, use the same passport as the one on the application to enter Panama if you have dual or multiple citizenship. Authorities will check this, and in case of discrepancies, your application may be denied. Step 6, request a multiple entry visa. To leave the country of Panama during this process, you will need to obtain a multiple entry visa. Otherwise, you may be subject to a $2,000 civil fine. It might take at least 3 days before you're issued the visa, so plan your trip accordingly. If you don't plan on leaving Panama and you don't need the multiple entry visa, then you can wait on the approval process inside the country for as long as the temporary residency card is active, which usually expires after 6 months. Within a couple of months, my lawyers will contact you about the resolution of your temporary visa, and you will receive your provisional visa. After 2 years of holding it, you can apply for your permanent residency and eventually citizenship. Here are my final thoughts on this. Panama is a business-friendly nation that offers a lot to investors and companies operating in the Republic. However, you should keep in mind that obtaining a permanent residency through the Friendly Nations Visa isn't the same as tax residency. So if you're applying for tax purposes, you'll need to meet further requirements that include a permanent address in Panama and at least 183 days spent in the country each year. Out of all the residencies on the market at the moment, I would say that this is one of the easiest and most affordable. We work with a lot of visas from around the world that require anywhere from $300,000 to $1 million investment. If you are interested in getting residency in Panama, please reach out to me and my company for assistance at expatmoney.com, and we would be more than happy to help you. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to this channel. And while you're at it, be sure to bookmark expatmoney.com, which is also where you can reach out to my team for assistance with the programs that we discussed today on Panama. Thanks.